night of souls unshaken. I've introduced myself to you all as Jona. As you can see, I'm without my lovely mother this time. You ever get the jitters? I do. Today, I'm supposed to talk about myself for a bit, and that's not something I've ever been so accustomed to. I've even got my notes open with me this time. It's not an easy thing to think of yourself in a positive light sometimes. It's easy to want to beat ourselves up for the littlest things. But I wanted to introduce myself properly to all of you, at least this side of myself, yeah? Well, I should start by explaining Jona. A lot of people have been asking questions about that, naturally. Jona is not my given name or really any of my legal names. Really, I have many names that many different people know me by. My parents named me one thing, but they call me another thing. My friends know me by different names. Some of them legal, some of them nicknames, some of them neither. But here, I want you all to know me as Jona. See, I've never considered myself to have one clear, distinct identity. I'm from many different places. I'm known by many different names. I'm friends with all kinds of people. And I think that's a strength of mine in a lot of ways. But let's start at the beginning, shall we? I was born in New Orleans, USA. Still one of my favorite cities in the world. But not very long after I was born, Hurricane Katrina rolled through. I imagine plenty of you are old enough to remember that. My parents and I, that is, we had to get out. So we left to South Africa, which of course is my mother's home country. I spent my first 4 or 5 years there. Probably 4 it was. My time there was brief, but my memories there were very formative. They're still very special to me. There was a lot of turmoil. We were in at the time as a family, but I was only a child, so I was fortunate enough to be spared from most of it, at least consciously. From South Africa, we returned to New Orleans. I was 5 years old. I spent the rest of my early childhood there. I had a whole network of friends. I used to be the popular kid, if you can believe that. Always ready with a funny joke or a word of advice. I was a cute kid too. I won't lie to you. That probably helped, but around 10 years old, my dad got a job offer, a significant promotion, really. And that meant a lot to us. We didn't have much in the way of means at the time. Money was a bit tight. Not a bit, it was tight. So although I had to leave my home and my friends behind, we needed that. So we moved to Jersey City so my dad can easily work in New York. And the first year there was kind of miserable. I attended a school right near my house, or apartment rather, that I really didn't like. I must have been 9 actually at the time. The kids there were lacking in that southern slowness I was so used to. None of them were necessarily bad kids, at least not all of them. But I just wasn't ready for what the East Coast was. The kids were all loud and they were all quick when I was slow. I didn't fit in very well. I didn't like it at all. But a year after that, when I was 10 years old, my mother found me a very nice Christian school to go to. It was built out of a brownstone building, I think, 4 stories high. It was such a mess, but I loved it. I really did. I made plenty of friends there at first. Then, not so much. For whatever reason, the other kids just outgrew me a little quicker. I wasn't so popular there either, but it was better than the first school at least. And I met some of my very best friends there. Hope, Lem, Sebastiano. I still really cherish those memories. So, thanks to you all. Now, that little Christian school was called Mustard Seed. I don't believe it still exists, at least in the form it was back then, anymore. Financial troubles, I think it was, which is sad to see, but it is perhaps heartening to know that those financial troubles came of the generosity that the school's directors had in providing financial aid to families who couldn't necessarily afford the outright fees. That means a lot, you know? And even if it didn't work out in the end, it says a lot that was the way it was. That was the cause of it for 30, 40 years. I don't know how long Mustard Seed was around, but a long time. I remember that place very fondly. It was named Mustard Seed because of the story of the mustard seed. One needs faith only as large as a mustard seed to move mountains. I always liked the symbolism of that. I also have fond memories of the teachers there. They were all messy, human, but they all wanted us to succeed. They all wanted us to grow big and healthy and happy. And a lot of us did. Moving on from Mustard Seed, we moved into suburban New Jersey, a little town called Chatham, for high school. My mom and I had expected it to be just like the Gilmore Girls. Not quite so, but it was still a really lovely place. Full to the brim, perhaps, of privileged upper middle class white kids. I grant you that. But still a place I felt welcome nonetheless. That's where I met the bulk of my current friends. I really, like I said last time, they're all completely irreplaceable to me. Those were some of the best days. Even if I was a wallflower through much of it, and I let fear and anxiety hold me back from living it to the fullest. But, well, that's the thing about growing up. you end up missing, or you end up regretting the things you didn't do more than the things you did. That's just a part of life, though. It doesn't matter how many people live that experience and then warn others not to do that same thing. It happens. It does. From Chatham, well, high school for me is when the pandemic kicked in, that second half of freshman year. The COVID-19 pandemic, that is. It was devastating for a lot of people. It was scary for much more, but for me, it was just odd losing track of time like that. Every time we predicted when it was going to end, it didn't. Oh, it's just 2 weeks and then we'll all be out. Wasn't 2 weeks. Oh, it's just a month or two and then we'll be good. Wasn't a month or two. Oh, we'll be done with this by next year. 2 years later. It wasn't a good time, especially in America. The president at the time, who unfortunately happens to be the same president now, completely aped it. Just wet the bed in every approach he took to it. Knowingly lied about how dangerous it was, refused to warn the public ahead of time. It was a mess. People died because of it. That is difficult indeed to not even really forgive, but just to reckon with that we let that happen, that we chose that person again. Doesn't make sense to me. But before a thing can get better, it's got to get worse. It's the way of life. You've got to hit a boiling point before we're ready to get out of the pot. So, COVID comes and goes for the most part. High school's going pretty good by the time junior year rolls around. I missed really all of my sophomore year for fear that I'd catch something and bring it home to my parents. My dad especially, who was older. Fortunately, that didn't happen. The one time my father did catch it, he made it out okay. But anyway, sophomore year comes and goes. Junior year, pretty good. I get to be a high schooler. I get to goof off with my friends. Senior year, same thing. It's going great. I'm close with my friends. I'm gaining confidence. I got into the college I want. My father dies before I even graduate. I'm still haunted by that day. I had nightmares nonstop for weeks. I got to a point I was afraid to sleep. I was angry. I was lost. The college I wanted was in Japan, and I got accepted into it. And visiting Japan someday had been a dream of mine since I was 12 years old. He and I were meant to go together when my semester started. We were meant to spend the month before my classes began just touring the country together. And we never got to. I miss him something fierce. So my mom was the one who took me there instead. She didn't want me to feel that I had to give up on my dream, and I'm so grateful for that, even if Japan didn't turn out well. And we did do some sightseeing for a time. We went to Kyoto together. That was an unforgettable experience. We saw so many beautiful things. Then my classes began. She went home. I stayed. I was miserable. Japan is already a very homogenous place, not a place easy for foreigners to integrate into. But even on top of that, there's a certain kind of foreigner they prefer. That kind of foreigner is usually white Europeans. A big, fat, brown American, not so much. It's a place where you can be welcome but never included. I'm not sure I was even welcome. I didn't do well in Japan. I stopped taking care of myself altogether, I'll be real with you. After a certain point, I stopped going to classes too. Must have been 2 or 3 months in out of 4. Wasn't good. I was low. I'd have, shall we say, disconcerting thoughts and feelings nearly every day. It was the grace of my mother's prayers and my friend's presence that got me through that time. Nate, Jack, really, you're top class, both of you. Thank you. So, after only a semester, I came home from Japan. I'm not sure I could have stayed anyway, given how low I let my grade fall, but I chose to come home regardless. And I've just kind of been in a state of limbo ever since. I described to you last time a feeling of waiting at a bus stop, but the bus never comes. That was me, while I watched my friends succeed and thrive and leave me behind. There I was. Therapy, never take therapy for granted. It doesn't matter how much you don't think you need help. It doesn't matter how much you think maybe you're somehow less if you do receive help. It's not true. Everybody needs someone to lean on. And sometimes a therapist is that someone. Not everyone just has that on their own. And that's okay. It's okay to not be okay. So we moved from upstate New York, where we'd intended to be before my dad passed. We moved from upstate New York to California, the Bay Area, to be closer to my grandmother. Same thing. Stagnation, listlessness. Wasn't good. I must confess to you, I don't particularly like California all that much. The land is beautiful. That's about it for me. I apologize to Californians or fans of California. It just didn't click for me. My bad. 2 years we spent there. 2 years I continued to stagnate. Then Portugal. I've already told you why I'm here. For the most part for safety, but also I felt there were no opportunities for me in America. There are here. It's not a great country to work in, but it's an excellent country to live in. If you're privileged enough to do something like my mother and I are, which is this, it might just be the place to be. But why am I doing this then? Well, I've got a dream, maybe a naive and childish dream, but you see, it's my firm belief that not one person, the whole wide world, deserves to be hurt. And you might think, well, what of the worst of the worst? Shouldn't they be hurt? They're only the worst because their actions hurt others. What does that make of you if you in turn do the same thing? Not as bad, not nearly, but not good either. It's my firm belief that nobody has enemies. And I know I got that from Vinland Saga, but it's a good line, okay? And, well, it ties in with one of my favorite pieces of scripture. I'll pull it up now. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies. Bless those who curse you. Do good to those who hate you. And pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you. Love thy neighbor. Great, love it. But anybody can love thy neighbor. Even the most depraved among us know how to greet their own brethren. That doesn't mean anything. That's your bare minimum. But to extend, even if not forgiveness, even if not necessarily mercy, to extend unconditional love and empathy and sympathy and pity for even those who stand against you, for even those who wrong you. That's the highest thing any of us can ever do. And so the reason I do this is because I want to, in any small way I can, help bring about a world that has no enemies. Oh, I can see I'm running out of time, so I'd like to say a prayer. I don't have anything special in mind like my mother does or anything specific, so let's just say our Father together, you and me. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thanks for sitting here with me. I'm Jona. This is Souls Unshaken. Stay safe out there.